I'm just going to read the title poem from the collection Where's Katie, and I promised then 2 humorous ones, so if you just bear with me while I read this. But it's inspired by, you know, John Spillane sings a song, The Mad Woman of Cork, and it's also inspired by Kathleen Hulan, and it's also inspired by priests and all that. But it's a search for Ireland now, and it's based on the line from September 1913, some woman's yellow hair has maddened every mother's son. So Kathleen Hulan now is about 120 and she's no teeth and she's going around mad. So where is Katie? Some woman's yellow hair has maddened every mother's son. I have I? We've revved and motored past a second coming. All the talk of war and coming speaks of threes and thirds now. With 6,000% peroxide blistering my scalp, not Matthew, Mark, Luke or John would have me now, since I have withered. I am damaged. I am interrupted. I am dying. It's all over, ye feckless, stupid fools that did me, that I watched helpless on a stone on the prom. I should have jumped into it years ago. The black unknown, where even my clothes would have come undone. For greed, for greed, for greed. I am so sorry, boys. They say the Stonebreakers is busy with wailing spirits, but toothless and bleached, I'm too ashamed. I am waist deep, is there no end to our futile preening? Like a swan blacked out in a noise slick, I poison myself with my own tongue. This awful thirst, the more I drink. This awful thirst, the more I drink. I will drink this well dry, then scale the cathedral spire and fire off tarry hawkers at holy sisters and archbishops. But there are no churches left for climbing, only cakes to stick our captured spires through. So I spread my arms and stand aloft on raintons and jig screeching. No one understands. I walk the shut-down railway lines and pile up sleepers, sniff lines of crystal up my septum sides. Indignant runts splash from my loins, lying, capable of understanding. Universally decayed as infants born from pathetic poisons, positioned in comforts away from rude cries of needs, haunting hunger. Oh hunger, my yellowed hands are cupping nothing. Ask for this land again. Go on, dare ye cowardly fucks, for a heaving great giant to lie in me and let me go, to breed something magical and let me come. He could hook each one of these limestones from the insufferable stone walls. He could hurl each one from a tight rod line into the water. Each morning the giant could take them fished and hooked from the four-cornered bed we lie on with our wrapped limbs and soaking skin. He could chip at the piece of empty mirror that reflects a mouth of broken canines and punch the lot endlessly out. One coarse stone after another into the black Atlantic. The mirror edges chipped away to nothing. Beat away our stone-dead babies, our useless divided corners that sink the middle of a four-piece cause. Our way now is a cause far from giants to the little people. But I see little people with no eyes. I see little people with no eyes, only mirrors, miming the maddening curse of this froth, this fierce froth. Interrupt me, I am dying. Take me, bathe me, take me, lubricate my line, my life, unleash me, unchain me, unleash the hidden side of my end.
I was just talking to Dominic there before we started the gig, and about how little kind of financial reward there is for doing poetry. You know, there's not a lot of money in it, obviously. But there are rewards in it, and one of the rewards is when you kind of connect with people with what you're saying, you know, and that doesn't happen every day or every night or anything like that, but when it does happen it can be very special. And one of the times that happened to me recently was in the Ashling Centre in Dublin, which is a centre for what they call surviving survivors of institutional sex abuse in Ireland. And I was invited in there and I read a couple of poems to them, and the poem that really connected with them was a poem called Spite Specific. I'm going to read that for you now. And just the background of it is, I went to an art exhibition, a site-specific art exhibition in a workhouse in Burr, right? And site-specific, for anybody who might know what that means, is to do with the artist making art connected with the actual, the place where the art is being put on. And when I was there, I met a nun, and I proceeded to have sort of a debate, which turned into a rant with the nun. And because of this is a true story, because of out of that I wrote this poem, Spite Specific. Spite Specific. I met a nun done today in a workhouse? In a workhouse in Birr. Not a fake or a phantasmagoric nun, but a real one. A real nun. She was telling me and my musician buddy Aidan about how the workhouse system was set up by the British occupiers and later handed on to the Roman ones way back in the Blight Age in order to deal with the problem of poverty. She didn't like it much when I referred to the church as the Romans. And when I started to rant about shaven heads and unmarked graves and iron rods and rape and leather belts and all of the countless tortures inflicted upon the children of the poor by the Romans in their workhouses in order to deal with the problem of poverty, she got riled. And she asked me for my sources. And I said my sources were the words of abused children I had read about and met. And she called those children liars. She actually did. She said, "What do children do? Only lie." And went on to say, well, sure, some bad things happened, but there needed to be balance. And I said, the only balance for a dead or an injured child was a knife in the eye. I said the only balance that didn't spit upon the grave of oppressed infants was the balance of revenge. And I asked her about transubstantiation. I said, do you believe in transubstantiation? And she said she did. And I said, how could someone who believes in eating flesh and drinking blood of a Sunday, how could a fucking cannibal and a vampire like you talk to anyone about their sources? And she walked away. And I knew that I had won right there and right then at that contemporary art exhibition in a workhouse in Birr against that rotting old, hypocritical old wanker of a nun. Bravo!
I hope it's okay to add some tongue-in-cheek humour now, sorry. We'll give everyone a minute. I'd say I don't know what this looks very arty that you're sitting there and I'm sitting there. It's like I'm watching you or something from behind. But anyway,
I'm always watching you from behind. I'm just giving you a break.
In Athenry, where I'm from, lots of people blame the Polish community for everything. So this poem is called "The Polish Have Caused a Crash," and I literally overheard these things, so I just joined them up together and made a poem out of it. The Polish have caused a crash on the boreen between White's and the Old House, and Brazilians have opened a new Mexican restaurant beside Malloy's. Even the Chinese chef is giving out. There is not a car with tax, and not one of these young ones are putting a pin into the economy shopping in Aldi. They'll screw up the new children with their guttery genes. John Nolan even told me that the same thing happened when the farmers mixed Grecians and Belgian blues. The unreal moves out of the fuckers. And everyone knew it was because they weren't true blue. Our new priest has lady callers with tracksuit, bling, pink nails, blow-up beds. He thinks nothing of drinking coffee and mocha beans. 'Tis fucked entirely we are. We're entirely fucked.